This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Encompass Health, North Shore Community College, Leo Inc., Brotherhood Credit Union, and Daoulas Brothers Construction.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of the LCTV News. I'm Danny Vittori, and we have a jam-packed episode for you this week, covering a whole collection of topics. The budget and state funding took center stage on headlines, while celebrations took the mic for videos. Featuring a special double lowdown, here is the news for Friday, June 14th, 2024. At their meeting on the 11th, City Council approved the $517 million budget by a vote of 10-1. The school district got the largest piece at $249 million. According to Mayor Nicholson, the city was not meeting the national school spending requirement several years ago, but that is no longer the case. The remainder of the money was spread across the remaining departments to make investments in a fiscally responsible way. Additionally, the council voted unanimously to approve the increase in salaries of city councilors and school committee members by $7,000. This increase will not take effect until after the next election and will be implemented over 2 fiscal years, beginning in fiscal year 2026. The goal of this increase is to encourage the next generation to run for office and remove barriers so people from any income level can run. For the school committee especially, as they have not received a raise since the 1980s.
What is driving the increase in expenses? And a part of that is the increase in required school spending. And I want to be clear in saying that our school spending is absolutely money well spent. We have students who have great needs, and the number of students that we educate continues to grow. And absolutely, public education is one of the most important things that we do as a city. I also think it's important to highlight other ways that we're overcoming the limitations that we have in our operating budget. One way is grants, and the city is aggressive, and the departments we have are aggressive in trying to find those grants. Some examples this year is that the library was able to add security through their state library funds. The fire department was able to make some investments in fire prevention at Lynn Woods with a grant that they received from the state.
In this same meeting, the council also approved a bond order allowing the city to purchase the Eastern Bank building at 95 Market Street for $12 million. Also with a vote of 10-1, Ward 1 Councilor Pete Meany was the sole opposer in both votes. The intent is to use the building for administrative offices for the school, freeing up existing spaces. This could also help alleviate the issue of crowded classrooms in the city. And the annual debt service would be less than the current amount paid, moving from $700,000 to $600,000. Several community members spoke for and against the purchase of the building.
We're spending a lot of money, especially with our school budget now. Purchasing this building, well, it's like, we're thinking outside the box. We're going to open up spaces, classroom, for our students, which is, as we all know, our schools are overcrowded. Our students deserve it, and not only do our students, but our teachers deserve more space for our children.
Debt service on the bonds is going to be about $670,000. The savings on all the leases, the consolidation of the leases, is going to be $750,000. So we're going to be ahead of the game.
I'm not in favor of this because I just learned that I guess there are going to be children in there. However, you've bought Century Bank, you're using part of the senior center, you're going to lose $400,000 in tax revenue, and then we got to pay back almost $700,000 for the bond. That's $1.1 million. I'd like to know how that money is going to be replaced. We heard about level funding for the budget. There's no money. I think that this is a poor use of our money.
Tassels were turned and caps thrown in the air this past week was graduation time for Lynn high schools. Collectively, the schools graduated more than 1,000 students, the largest group being the 505 from English.
This is a momentous occasion, and it gives me immense pride to celebrate with you. I encourage you to embrace the possibility that lies ahead and forge on with confidence that you are brilliant, resilient, and brave. You can and will do anything you choose to do in this life.
To the graduates, today is a testament to your resilience and determination. Over the past few years, you have faced unprecedented challenges and navigated them with grace and fortitude. You have adapted to new ways of learning, engaged in creative problem solving, and demonstrated a level of maturity and responsibility that has impressed us all.
Tomorrow we will begin the next beautiful step into the rest of our lives. As Lynn Tech graduates, we are prepared and we are ready, and we are excited to embrace that fear, harness that opportunity, and build a life filled with hope and potential.
We are unwavering symbols of our Boulder mascot champ. Courage, honor, achievement, motivation, and pride.
Your determination, flexibility, and creativity will allow you to go into the world with the skills and knowledge you need to find success in the 21st century.
Be who you want to be. Challenge the idea of what success really means. Stay true to yourself, regardless of what anyone else wants you to be. What's most important is to do what you love.
Now, whenever doubt shot in my head, I just remember that little 9-year-old kid. He taught me that we're only bound by the limits we place upon ourselves. As long as we believe we can do it and put in the work, nothing is impossible.
Each of us is equipped with unique experiences, perspectives, and strengths. It is this diversity that enriches us and makes us powerful.
After all, the qualities you each possess are what make you individuals. That uniqueness is what will or will not set you apart in this world. Remember, you will never stand out by trying to fit in.
When you try new things, you're going to make some mistakes, and that's okay. We all make mistakes. Just don't let them define you. After you've learned from your mistake, put it behind you and move on. Don't ruin a good today by obsessing about a bad yesterday.
Remember that we will always be students, and there is always learning to be had. Romanticize learning, because it's not all about the books. It's about what you take with you that will let you control your world.
If you believe in you, know that your success is not predicated or determined by what others think about you, or what others were or were not able to do before you. You alone can break through barriers, set records, defy odds, and even change the world, just as long as you believe you can.
Learn through your experiences. Share those experiences. Rely on each other. For you guys are the future, and the future is now.
J. Warren Cassidy, who served as mayor of Lynn from 1970 to 72, died at the age of 93 this past week. Cassidy was a local. Born in Lynn in 1930, he graduated from Wakefield High School and Dartmouth College, where he also played catcher. He would go on to serve 22 years in the U.S. Marines, earning the rank of Commandant of the Marine Engineering Unit housed in Lynn. Winning the seat of mayor by 251 votes in 1970, he is remembered as having a business approach to running the city. described as a leader who brought good people into the governing body and left behind a legacy of service and progress. After retiring, he spent the remainder of his life in East Wakefield, New Hampshire, where he enjoyed time with his family. Friends of Lynn and Nahant Beach had a perfect day for a beach cleanup at Red Rock Park on the morning of the 8th. Volunteers showed up, and not just for the donuts. Fanning out to cover the Lynn side of Kings Beach, as well as the park, they came back with a collection of bags, plastic, and other trash. Members of the community got a perfect day for a beach cleanup the morning of the 8th. Co-sponsored by the Friends of Lynn and Nahant Beach, DCR, and Pickup Massachusetts, roughly a dozen volunteers scoured Kings Beach and Red Rock Park picking up trash. Trash in the ocean affects hundreds of sea creatures, as they can mistake it for food and ingest harmful substances. It can also interfere with the sea's ability to absorb carbon dioxide. Volunteers picked up a wide variety of waste, predominantly plastic bottles, bottle caps, and cigarette butts. The city of Lynn and the town of Nahant are surrounded by coastline and are full of people, such as these volunteers, coming together to protect it. A picturesque day, DCR provided the buckets, trash bags, litter poles, and gloves used by volunteers before loading everything onto their cart to be disposed of safely. Additionally, passerbyers could learn more about FLNB, their mission, and even pick up a shirt. All in all, a successful morning of community service and aquatic protection. For LCTV News, I'm Danny Vittori. Councillor Matul also hosted the first annual Cook Street Park Community Fiesta later on the 8th. Several organizations have put a great deal of work into cleaning up the park, adding a community garden, and making the area safer for children. This was a day to celebrate all the effort and further engage the community in elevating the assets in their neighborhood.
Hello, my name is Obed Matul. I'm the Ward 2 City Councilor. We are here at Cook Street Park celebrating our first community fiesta of Cook Street neighborhood. We are grateful for being here. We are super happy with the turnout. We had a huge turnout this morning. We had over 34 vendors who came out. We had food. We just had a canine dog show. We're also going to have basketball and soccer activities from 1 to 3 for all the kids to get everyone in the community involved. We want to bring more we want to create a safer neighborhood, a safer environment for our kids, our teenagers. So that's why we're bringing more traffic into this park. We're bringing more light to the park. So I want to thank my wife, my captains, my team, the Highlands Coalition, United Nations CDC. Thank you for everything, for all the work that we have put in together. And after today, we're going to start planning the second one. So thank you to all the city departments that supported us. Thank you for all the elected officials that supported us. And thank you to the community for coming out for us. This was done for you. This was done for our community. We're going to bring the community together and create safer neighborhoods.
Muchas gracias a la comunidad por haber respondido a este evento. Es uno de los primeros eventos que se lleva a cabo en este parque, así que esperamos que puedan visitar este parque más seguido. La verdad que ha hecho un excelente trabajo también junto a los capitanes de los precintos y muchas gracias a todos ustedes que han respondido, a los que han venido a traer su información, a los que trajeron la comida, empanadas, Golden Monkey y todos los demás puestos que estuvieron. Muchas gracias. Esperamos poder contar con su presencia en una próxima oportunidad y que usted pueda venir más seguido a Cook Street Park. Y recuerde que puede hacer sus picnics y asimismo poder rentar una camita para poder sembrar sus propios vegetales. Que tenga un hermoso día.
The Lynn Way Multimodal Corridor in Lynn has been selected as one of 14 projects to receive a Fair Share Award from the Healy-Driscoll administration. Announced in a press release on the 12th, a total of $13 million is being distributed, with Lynn the recipient of $6,750,000. This funding is generated by the Fair Share Amendment, and they are matching funds for projects and initiatives eligible for federal discretionary grants through the Mass Department of Transportation. Fair Share Awards were granted to communities who have shown that they put infrastructure funding to good use, tackling their unique needs while also improving life for their residents. Fair Share funds a wide range of projects, including repair of local roads and bridge construction and restoration. In celebration of their culture, a Khmer Identity Presentation and luncheon was held at City Hall on the 10th. Lynn is one of the largest Cambodian populations in the state, and many of them were gathered to share artifacts and stories about growing up Cambodian and what their Khmer identity means to them.
On June 10th, the City of Lynn, in collaboration with the Public Arts Commission, put on a Khmer Identity Presentation and luncheon.
So we're going to start with a blessing dance, and then we'll move on to presentations of artifacts.
So when I was younger, I didn't think too much about my own identity, but as I've gotten older and I'm trying to understand myself as first generation and what it means to me, it's become an important part of who I am.
Held in observance of Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month in May, this event honored the Cambodian community in Lynn through presentations centered on their Khmer identity. Golden Monkey Cafe provided food for the event, while Caprona Center and Cambo Culture Crew put on performances.
This outfit is a wedding dress. I did the embroidery myself.
So my mom bought me this when I was young because I was struggling a lot with my identity being mixed Cambodian. So we have these decorated in our homes just to remind us of our culture and the beauty of being Cambodian.
Community members shared artifacts such as wedding dresses, pictures, and religious artifacts, along with stories to share and celebrate the richness of the Cambodian community. For LCTV News, I'm Riley.
The Planning Department for the City of Lynn is hosting 2 events aimed at soliciting feedback for draft recommendations for a comprehensive parking strategy for downtown. This process began in November of last year and will be finalized by this summer. The next gathering will be a daytime pop-up at the Damascus YMCA from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the 18th. Participants can view project information, an analysis of existing conditions, as well as the draft recommendations. Residents are encouraged to share questions and feedback with the project team, ensuring that draft recommendations best support both current conditions and potential future needs. These sessions are designed to be interactive. There will be a short presentation to kick off the meeting, with the rest of the time designated for review and public input. Materials will be provided in both English and Spanish, and live interpretation in Spanish will also be available. The Juneteenth flag was raised over City Hall in recognition of the Juneteenth holiday, which occurs on the 22nd of June every year. Commemorating the time when Texas slaves found out they were free 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, the event this year featured spoken word and song performances.
Let it resound loud as the rolling sea.
Today, as we gather to honor and reflect upon the historic significance of Juneteenth, we do so with a deep recognition of both the progress we have made and the challenges that precedes in our journey towards racial equality.
For lack of unity, for lack of love, honor, respect, transparency, accountability, we need more density and resources. Developing expressions now, creating initiatives through your ability to be the change instead of waiting for it.
This delay in justice, where the government responds to former slaves for the sake of unity, reminds us that freedom and equality has never come easy for Black American community. It is and has been a struggle painted across a vast canvas of our history, marked by the sweat and tears of those who fought tirelessly so they can stand here today.
You know how much it hurts to be fully aware that we are anchored in the mundane and the monotonous, flying high in the dream of what could become of us. if that forsaken change that has been on its way for too long finally got here. It is imperative that we do not forget the lessons of 1877 and remain vigilant to maintain the progress of the civil rights movement.
May we forever stand true to our God and true to our native land.
For the second year in a row, members of Lynn Kayak and Sail built 2 rowboats and presented them to veterans at a launch event on the 12th. Students from Lynn English High School worked with the Brickyard to build these boats from scratch before giving them a test run on the water.
I would like to thank everybody for being here on such a fine day. I would like to thank the veterans especially for taking time out of their day to come and support us. We put a lot of hard work into these boats. We hope you enjoy them, and we hope that you have a fun ride in them.
When I first got involved to come over and see Mr. Grealish, what he had done here, I was so taken by it, and to watch the dedication and the skill, and particularly the dedication, to watch what these young students did. They took such pride and ownership in this. It was incredible.
What they're learning here is not just how to build a boat, but they're learning about teamwork. They're learning about how to keep traditions going like these, like bringing our community together and being leaders in our community. They're learning leadership skills, public speaking.
What a proud moment for the city of Lynn to really embrace what makes this city so great. Our young people and the potential they have, the ambition they have.
It stands as a powerful symbol of this community's respect and gratitude for our veterans, and I thank you. And to the students who built this boat, I want to extend a special thank you. I'm especially moved by you, your involvement in building the boat that was launched. Is not just a demonstration of your hard work and your dedication and your craftsmanship and your teamwork, but also a powerful gesture of respect and gratitude for veterans.
At the 1, the sports update. In softball, a pitcher's duel pitted 4th-ranked Norton versus 5th-ranked St. Mary's. Unfortunately for the Spartans, Norton scored the only run of the game on a passed ball to win 1-0. The Spartans finished the year at 16-5. On the boys' side, St. Mary's is looking to add to their already impressive collection of championships. The second-seeded baseball team shut out number 7 North Middlesex 5-0 and 6th-ranked Tankasquee Regional 1-0 to advance to the state championship. A big stage requires an even bigger performance, and the Donnie brothers were up to the task against Middlesex. Josh Donnie started the game 1-2-3 en route to a 10-strikeout, 1-hit shutout win, while Kyle Donnie took care of business on offense, going 2 for 3, including a 2 RBI knock with 2 outs to give St. Mary's the early 4-0 advantage. Against Tankasquee, it was all about defense. In the third, the opponents did get a player on base with a single before their leadoff hit a shot to deep center field. But a perfect 8-6-2 relay got the ball to catcher Kyle Donnie with plenty of time to tag out the runner. Despite struggling in his last outing, pitcher Jake Zimmerman had full confidence in his team's defense and threw a 6-strikeout, 5-inning performance for the win. The one and only run of the game came in the bottom of the 5th when Shea Newell hit a single and was replaced by pinch runner Gabe Diaz. A throwing error on a pickoff attempt got Diaz all the way to 3rd. With no outs, Devin Duvall hit a fly ball deep enough into the outfield to score a diving Diaz. The Red Sox have broken the .500 mark at 35-34, winning their series with the red-hot Philadelphia Phillies. The Sox lost the first game 4-1, but found their offense, taking the next 2 8-6 on the 12th and 9-3 on the 13th. On the 12th, a 5-run 5th inning, including a 2 RBI single by Emmanuel Valdez, proved to be the difference. Every player in the lineup got at least 1 hit in the finale, totaling 14, including a 3-run Johnson by Tyler O'Neill in the 4th. The Celtics are up 3-0 in the finals and are just 1 win away from their 18th title. Game 2 was a much more competitive game than the first, sporting a 105-98 final. Boston was actually trailing for the better part of the first half, and their offense struggled from behind the line, only hitting 10 of their 39 attempted three-pointers. Neither team gained a double-digit lead till Boston broke free midway through the fourth quarter when they finally started hitting threes. The Dallas defense was all over Jason Tatum, triple-teaming him at times. But Tatum made that work to his advantage, dishing out 12 assists to his open teammates. The offense was led by Drew Holiday's double-double, with 26 points and 11 rebounds. As he has done all playoffs, Jaylen Brown had a driving layup to put the Celtics up 7 with less than a minute remaining to seal the game. With the 106-99 final, Game 3 in Dallas was much of the same, with the Mavericks holding the lead until the second period when Boston went up 35-34. However, the second half was all about runs. First up, the Celtics went on a 35-19 run in the third, but the Mavericks cut a 21-point deficit to 3 with a 24-7 run of their own. Tatum and Brown took the team on their shoulders, scoring a combined 61 points. Add that with Dallas star Luka Doncic fouling out with 4 minutes remaining in the fourth, and Boston did just enough for the victory. Tonight, they will go for the sweep. In a special edition of the Lynn Lowdown, we have 2 mini interviews about the Juneteenth celebration on the 22nd, followed by information on the Frederick Douglass speech reading on July 3rd. Nicole McLean and Wendy Joseph from NSJA came on to discuss the historical significance of both events, mixed with the family-friendly activities being provided. Hello and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today we're here to talk about the Juneteenth celebration with the North Shore Juneteenth Association President, Nicole McLean. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello, Danny, once again. Thanks for having me on. Yeah. Nice to see you.
You too. You're becoming a regular. This is fun.
Here I am.
So, yeah. So the celebration this year, can you tell a little bit about the when and where of it all?
Yeah, so we are going to be having our celebration in that little corner where the Lynn Museum is and also the Frederick Douglass Park. It will be outside, that is the hope, because in the last 2 years it had to be brought inside because of rain. So we're hoping that we will have it outside, so the Frederick Douglass Park will be activated and the lawn at the Lynn Museum will be activated, as well as the foyer that they have there before you go inside the museum. We will also have some vendors inside of the museum and a cool archiving workshop that someone from Northeastern, Victoria Day and Cabria Baumgartner, who is a historian on the North Shore. They're providing us a workshop where people can learn how to keep their sentimental items like pictures stored properly, any kinds of letters that you might have from your family or friends that you want to keep and store them properly. So they're going to give a workshop on how to secure your memories and your stories from historical archives that you might have in your home. So I think that's really awesome.
That is cool. I could use that.
Right. Come on to the workshop. It's going to start at 2:30 during the Juneteenth celebration, which is June 22nd, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
And can you talk a little bit about the significance of the history of the event?
Oh, absolutely. So the Juneteenth holiday commemorates the ending of slavery in the United States for Black Americans. So the Emancipation Proclamation was signed in 1863, and then in Galveston, Texas, the word didn't reach them until 1865. And there was also enslavers that were moving deeper south to escape the reach of the information. So they didn't want to let their enslaved people go. They knew of the 1863 signing of the document, but in order to keep their people enslaved a little bit longer, they kept on moving deeper south where the information hadn't been received yet. So by the time that information got to Galveston, Texas, there was 250,000 enslaved Black Americans in that town who heard of their freedom 2 years after that proclamation was signed. So that's why the celebration of Juneteenth is so important, because it's not just Galveston, Texas that was informed, but also those enslaved that were being moved deeper and deeper south. So people from enslaved Black Americans from all over the United States basically celebrate this holiday because, we're not free until everyone is free. So, yeah, so that's when they heard of their freedom. And even that day, everybody wasn't able to exercise that freedom because they were like ridiculed and punished and all of that, because they were trying to exercise their freedom. So the first Juneteenth celebration didn't happen until 1867. So yeah, it's a very important holiday.
And the community as a whole, what do you hope that they take away from this event? You hope they learn?
Yeah, I hope they're able to see some positive images of Black American culture, because I know there's a lot of stereotypical images out there about who Black Americans are and what Black Americans represent. So I'm hoping that they go away knowing that, Black Americans have contributed positively to the American culture, and that they have some fun. They eat some soul food. We got soul food that's going to be there that we're giving out for free. First come, first serve on the soul food. It might not stay around, so if you come late, you might not get the soul food, but it will be, we'll start passing that out at noontime. So you'll have a little bit of collard greens, some baked macaroni and cheese, and that's being provided by A Taste of May. We purchased his catering services. Brandon Bing, he is also a Lynn native, so he's going to be doing the food for us. And then we're going to have some song, some dance, some poetry. It's going to be a very good, hopefully lively. We have a DJ as well playing music, so it's going to be a lively event.
You just answered my next question about entertainment, but you're already on it. You knew what I was going to say.
We have some dancers from Boston Afrobeats. They're going to be coming down. We have singing from One of a Kind. They do covers of R&B music. They're going to be there. We have Michelle La Poetica. She's going to be providing some spoken word. So it's going to be a great event. Yeah.
Well, it all sounds awesome and very cool. And this is a quick interview today, but thank you for coming on to talk about it.
All right, and thank you so much for having me.
Of course, anytime. And once again, I'm Danny Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next time with more guests. Welcome back to the Lowdown in the special edition where we talk about a second event happening in July, the Frederick Douglass reading at Frederick Douglass Park. We are now joined by Wendy Joseph in addition to Nicole. Thanks for coming back on.
Thank you. Nice to see you again, Danny.
You as well. You're both becoming regulars. This is fun. So first of all, Wendy, you wanted to talk a little bit about the history of the event, its historical significance.
Yes, the event, which was created by Mass Humanities about 10, 15 years ago, was tailor-made for nonprofits to be able to speak to the community. And this is actually, they picked this very particular speech by Frederick Douglass, of course, a son of Lynn, which was written in 1852. And he was saying in his speech, "What to the slave is the 4th of July." He was telling people that although the African Americans and the enslaved African Americans were still very patriotic and loved this country, he was pointing out that not so long ago, you all were fighting your enslavement from British taxes and from British rule. And he's calling out the hypocrisy about the American political system.
To say, I don't think I've ever heard the full speech, so I'm very interested in this. How does it work? Does one person do the speech? Do you have multiple speakers?
We have the speech that is in a 45-minute version, and it's parsed out into paragraphs. So everyone can come up and read a paragraph. They can also come back and read as many paragraphs as they like. We've decided to set it up so that there's 2 mics up on stage so that the speakers for the next paragraph can be right up there. So we're moving right along, and it also helps you in that continuity of going from one to the next, you can really get the words of Frederick Douglass and exactly understand his argument.
And I mentioned a little bit about where it was, but can you talk about the timing and when it is?
So it is on July 3rd, begins at 11 a.m. at the combination Frederick Douglass Park and Lynn Museum. As we know, for the past couple of years, both the Juneteenth celebration and the Frederick Douglass celebration had been rained out. Thankfully, we did have Lynn Museum to cover us, but we have high hopes for the weather this time.
Yes, hopefully the weather holds out. And Nicole, you're speaking a bit about the entertainment piece there as well.
So we do have some Afrobeats, again, from Boston Afrobeats. They'll be coming with, I believe, 2 dancers and doing some dancing. And then we have Janie David, who's going to be providing us with a performance of the Black National Anthem. And we have also One of a Kind, who's going to be doing a couple of songs from their catalog as well. And we have DJ Cosmic D on the turntables providing us with some sound. So we also have some face painting going on. So it's going to be another family-friendly, lively event. We also have food that we will be giving out for free as well. So definitely come down and enjoy yourself.
This event as well seems like a good mix of fun, but also really learning about history that people may not be as familiar with.
The history of the positive aspects of African American culture, and people who have never heard this reading before, sometimes they think that they are going to be a little bit off-put by that early 19th century style of speaking. But I have seen people who are just chatting away during the whole reading, and then all of a sudden they're standing with their mouths open and kind of walking towards the stage and saying, I'm going to go and speak a paragraph. And whenever you speak of those words of Frederick Douglass, you hear them coming out of your own mouth, you are absolutely 10% smarter than when you first walked up on that stage. It's a wonderful feeling.
And I want to invite people to register to read, because we have this year set up a Google Doc where you can go online and register to be a reader for the event. So there's how many paragraphs?
There's 45.
So 45 paragraphs altogether. You can, like Wendy said, read as many as you want, but we would love to know a little bit ahead of time who is interested in being a reader. So if you want to go on our website and sign up to read, that would be great.
Good. Gives you a little heads up warning too to see who might be a walk-on and who's going to be more prepared for it, right?
Right, absolutely. Increase
the continuity of it. And before I wrap up in a moment, was there anything else either of you wanted to mention about the event?
It's a long-running event. This is the second nonprofit that has taken over this event, and through North Shore Juneteenth Association, we're able to get much more people involved. So we're so happy to continue this tradition.
Yeah, and it's free to the community, so please, please show up. 11 a.m. July 3rd at Frederick Douglass Park and at Lynn Museum.
Well, thank you both for coming on to talk about these events and really doing the combined interview to really give people a scope of what's happening in the community.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Of course. Thank you again. And if you're interested, come check out these free events. And once again, I'm Danny Vittori. This is the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests. Up next, the community calendar. Next weekend, the 22nd is full of exciting events, beginning with the Spring Farmers Market at 20 Exchange Street, put on by the Food Project. Running from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., the entrance is up the ramp on the right side of the building. The market accepts cash, card, and SNAP/HIP as forms of payment. Go for a chance to get fresh produce sourced by local vendors. Continue the adventure by visiting Red Rock Park for the 2024 Lynn Music Festival. Put on by the Lynn Music Foundation, this inaugural event celebrates the musical diversity and local talent in the city. With a major focus on local talent, performers will range from hip-hop to jazz to rock and goes from 2 to 8 p.m. The following Monday will kick off the main week of Pride events by United Lynn Pride. First up will be a rainbow tower lighting at High Rock Tower. From 8 to 10 p.m., residents can see the colorful illumination of a local landmark, accompanied by music and live performances to celebrate the local LGBTQ+ community. That is the end of the 9th for the news this week. As always, stay up to date on what is happening at LCTV and around the city by following us on social media at Lynn Community Television. And visit our website, lyntv.org, to watch our channel, see our full community calendar, and read press releases. If you only want video content from staff to members, head to Lynn Community Television on YouTube. I'm Danny Vittori, this is LCTV News, and we will see you next week.
This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Encompass Health, North Shore Community College, Leo Inc., Brotherhood Credit Union, and Deulis Brothers Construction.